When I ask my students how many of you are creative, only a few raise their hands, some very timidly. For me, that's the biggest block to creativity. While creativity is not defined in an agreed way, people seem to have defined it in ways that exclude themselves. Usually, the definition is about art and music, and they don't include thinking. That mindset is built by many factors. Habits, traditions, and values are part of it. A simple thing like folding your hands is an unconscious habit. Did you ever notice that you always do it the same way? The same thumb on top, same one underneath? If you unfold your hands and do it the other way, it isn't comfortable. It doesn't feel right. And yet, it accomplishes the same thing. It's a habit. Thinking in untraditional ways is also uncomfortable when it's new to you. Sharing ideas that you know you would never use seems wrong, and ideas off the beaten track of our values are particularly difficult to express. That experience is more like folding your arms, noticing which hand sticks up and which one down, and trying to do that the other way. Not only is it uncomfortable, but you have to really think about how to do it differently. In creative problem-solving sessions, ideas shoot out like popcorn from an open pan. This requires learned behavior, since we have rules in society about waiting your turn and not interrupting. In business circles, we're taught not to make waves, not upset the status quo. These traditions block creativity and potentially wonderful new ideas. They block change, the kind of change needed for sustainability in organizations. Our perceptions of what we see are colored by our emotions and our old tapes that tell us how the world should be. This causes us to look at new ideas, new concepts, new products, and even new foods with a severely critical eye, finding faults first and using them to block progress, learning, and growth. I bring candy back from Brazil sometimes, and it's surprising how many students are afraid to even try it, even when it's made by an American company because it looks different and has a different name. Culturally, we're blocked by the emphasis placed on logic, reason, social expectations, practicality, economics, competition, obedience, duty, customs, traditions, and role expectations. These are valued well above imagination, creativity, fantasy, individuality, and spontaneity. In school, there was always a right answer and an appropriate way to get that answer. The problem is, by having everything taught to you in a way that eliminates mistakes, you also eliminate thinking and the ability to weigh options and make good judgments. When faced with a new situation, you compare it with what you've known before. And if it doesn't fit the mold, it's hard to decide what to do. Making mistakes is how we learn to make judgments and decisions. I asked my students to discuss their strategic, perceptual, values-based, and self-image blocks to creativity and discovered one of my own perceptual blocks. I saw blocks as things that stop us from being creative, and the students were writing some really positive things. Well, now I see there are also building blocks, things that help us be more creative, like practicing brainstorming, stopping premature judgment, taking some risks, being open to unusual ideas, having a flexible problem-solving process, accepting that error and ambiguity are part of life, and, most of all, believing in yourself and your ability to create.